Hi everyone, it's Yushin and welcome back. Today I'll be making stained glass polymer clay earrings. All the supplies that I've used in this video will be listed in my video description. So you're going to start by cutting out some translucent clay. I'm using Fimo Effect because that's the only brand that I could get. And then you're going to mix colored clay into your translucent. Make sure you're not using too much colored clay, you're only using like a little tiny bit. The first blue that I've used was too light, too pastel, so I've added some dark blue into that pile to make that blue show up more. It will be a lot easier if you mix your color using a pasta machine because your hand won't hurt as much. After you mixed all the colors, you're going to roll them into a stick. I'm rolling it into a stick by folding them because I want to avoid as much bubbles as I can. But it is not the end of the world if you have some bubbles in your clay. It's fine. You can still work with it. And then you're going to roll every single color into a stick. So like all of the colors into a stick. Now all the colors are rolled into a stick. You're going to take out your white clay and then you're going to put your white clay into the pasta machine and roll them out into a really thin slab. You can also be using other colors like black. And now the white is rolled out into a thin slab. And now you're going to wrap the translucent with the white clay. Make sure you have really clean edges when you're cutting the white because you don't want any overlap. It is important to make sure that you don't have any overlap. And then you're going to blend the clay together a little bit to make sure that this line becomes invisible. I've also cleaned up the edges, like the two sides as well. After you wrapped all the colors with white or black clay, you're going to attach them together. So you're just going to layer them together. And the order of the color does not matter. So you can put it in whatever way you want. And then you're just going to start rolling them down a little bit. Then you're going to use your knife and cut in the middle. I'm taking out a acrylic roller and then just rolling my cone into a square shape. I will show you later in this video how you can use all this leftover scrap and reuse it. So don't throw it away, keep it, you can reuse it. And now it is ready to be cut. The thickness does not matter too much. I've intentionally cut mine into different thicknesses because I was hoping to get different size stained glass effect after I rolled it down in my pasta machine. So the slab that is thicker will end up being bigger, like the effect will end up being bigger, and the ones that are thinner will end up being smaller. And whenever you see dust in your clay, you're going to use some Q-tip and alcohol to clean it. As I mentioned before in my previous videos, don't use too much alcohol because too much alcohol will cause your polymer clay to crack. And then I've covered both sides with some baking paper. I'm using baking paper because baking paper does not stick to your polymer clay, so that it will be really easy to remove. And this is after I've rolled it out in my pasta machine. And now it's time for cutting. You can use any shaped cutter you like. If your polymer clay keeps on sticking to your cutter, then you can cover your polymer clay with some plastic wrap and then cut it with your cutter. And the next step I'm doing is cleaning with some alcohol and also smoothing any unsmoothed edges. This is the most time-consuming step. And next, I'm adding a border around the earring. This is an optional step. You don't have to do this, but if you want, you can. And make sure that when you're baking these, you're putting them on printing paper. You're not baking it directly on a shiny surface like ceramic tile, because that will cause your polymer clay backings to have shiny spots on it. Right now, I'm just reusing all the scrap. I didn't do anything fancy, I just combined them and cut them and making a new slab out of these scrap. And for the leftover scrap from this slab, I will be using them as little textiles. Because I mixed a bunch of different branded clay together and they all require different baking temperature, and I would not be able to know what is the right timing, what is the right temperature, so I choose to bake them at the lowest temperature. I would start with 30 minutes and then wait for the clay to cool and bend the textile to see how the durability of the clay is, and then bake for longer if necessary. This one is really well baked. Like, it's a little bit over baked because you can see the color is starting to darken a little bit, but it's super strong. See how strong that is? It is super strong. Really well baked. Whereas these ones are not as strong as the other one, but they are really nice in terms of the color. Like the color is really vibrant and it's not as dark as the other one. There's like a really big difference. They're the exact same colors, except this one was baked longer than this one, and this one is a more like, it's more strong, like it's stronger than this one. And then the last thing that you're going to do is just to attach them with jewelry findings, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.